It's Purim, and we're celebrating with a festive meal, lots of drinks, and plenty of fun.
Hey, man.
Hey. My meaty and tender short-rib gnocchi will kick things off with a hearty bang.
This is so saucy and glossy.
Plus, for dessert, the most adorably delicious poppy seed hamantaschen, with sprinkles, of course. Then, to wash it down, 2 or 3 or maybe even 4.
Oh yeah.
Decadent red wine slushies. And for a comforting morning after breakfast, my cheesy spinach matzo brie is just what the doctor ordered to soak up the good times had by all.
Oh yeah.
Holy cow.
Hey, this is me, Molly A.
This is my husband, Nick. This is our new addition.
And this is our home, our farm on the North Dakota-Minnesota border. The place where I eat, sleep, and breathe food.
Hello, little dumplings. My food is a delicious mix of my Chinese and Jewish heritage and a taste of the Midwest. Nick and I are celebrating one of our favorite holidays on the farm, Purim. So for a traditional dessert, today I'm making my poppy seed hamantaschen, which are a soft sugar cookie stuffed with a classic sticky filling, folded into triangles, and then I like to finish mine with sprinkles. I just make a dough, add the filling, bake, and indulge because that's what you do on Purim. To get started on my dough, I'll mix up my dry ingredients. I'll get 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and a teaspoon of baking powder will help get a lighter crumbly texture on the cookie. And then some kosher salt. And that's it for my dry ingredients. And I'll whisk it together. Then I'm gonna grab some unrefined coconut oil. It makes the dough really nice and pliable, and it helps it hold its shape when it bakes. I'm gonna add 1/3 cup to my mixer bowl, and then 1/2 cup of sugar. I'll beat this until it's fluffy. Some lemon zest in this dough adds such nice bright character. It'll be a good contrast to the warm coconut notes. I'll keep the mixer going while I add 2 eggs, one at a time. I'll reduce the speed to low so that the dry ingredients don't go flying everywhere, and I'll gradually incorporate them. So Purim is a really fun Jewish holiday. It's kind of got Halloween and Mardi Gras vibes. It's a total party, and any Purim celebration needs hamantaschen. Okay, my dough is looking great. It's really smooth and soft, and then this needs to refrigerate before I shape it. This off the mixer. I'll gather the dough into a ball, and it smells delicious. I'll wrap this up, and then I'll let this chill in the fridge while I make my poppy seed filling. There are so many things that you could use to fill hamantaschen, but I love the classic poppy seed, which has this great nutty flavor and gorgeous jet black color. Using my spice grinder, I'll add 1/2 cup of poppy seeds, finely grind into a powder, and transfer to my pan. Then I'll add 1/2 cup of sweetened vanilla almond milk, 1/3 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of honey for more depth, I'll add a pinch of salt, some vanilla extract, and zest and juice of 1/2 lemon. I'll stir this together and bring it to a boil and let it cook until it thickens into a jam-like consistency. Growing up, I never used to go for the poppy seed hamantaschen, but these days, I'm really drawn to the bitter notes of the poppy seed filling. The filling is thickened. I'm gonna set it aside to cool while I grab my dough. I've also got my sheet pan lined with parchment and my circle cutter and a rolling pin. I'm gonna work with 1/2 of the dough at a time. I'll keep the other 1/2 covered so that it doesn't dry out. I'll dust my counter with some flour, and then I'll roll out the dough until it's 1/8 of an inch thick, which is gonna look quite thin, but when it all gets folded up, it'll be this great puffy cookie. This is all rolled out. I'll grab my circle cutter, which is 3 inches in diameter, and I'll cut out a circle. I'm gonna transfer it to my baking sheet. And now this is the #1 rule of hamantaschen shaping, and that's egg wash. So before adding the filling, brush the dough with a thin layer of egg wash, which is gonna be the glue that helps the cookie hold its shape. And it's just an egg beaten with a splash of water. I'm gonna add my filling now. A scant teaspoon, which isn't gonna look like that much on the cookie, but it does puff up in the oven. And now it's time to shape the Hamantaschen. They're always in triangles, and some people say that it's because it represents the hat of Haman, the villain in the Purim story. Other people say that it represents his ears, but no matter what, they will be tasty. I'm gonna start with the top 2/3 of the circle and fold them in. And then I'm gonna fold the bottom end up over those 2 corners that I just made. I'll pinch these edges to seal, and then I'm gonna brush the outside with egg wash as well. And that'll help make the outside shiny and pretty and party ready. This looks perfect. I'll continue shaping now, and don't forget the egg wash, please. Okay, these are going in the oven at 350 for 12 minutes until their bottoms are just lightly browned. It's time for the moment of truth to see if any of the Hamantaschen exploded. 100%, it's 10 out of 10. They all held their shape. I'm gonna sprinkle on some sprinkles just for some fun color and extra sweetness and crunch. And it'll be right in the center. A pocket full of sprinkles. Sprinkle Taschen. Okay, I need to taste one while they're still warm. Hamantaschen. More like tasty Taschen. Coming up, I've got a short rib that's meaty, filling, and likes to have a good time. They're a hearty party. Then later, my cure for any Purim overindulgence, breakfast for the next morning. Nick and I are having a little Purim party for 2, and for the main course, I'm making my short rib gnocchi, which is meaty and saucy, and it strikes this great balance between being very special but not overly fussy, so it's gonna be perfect for our low-key festivities. To start, I'm seasoning 2.5 pounds of English cut short ribs liberally on all sides with kosher salt, and this is gonna help get that delicious crust. All right, I've got my brazier here. It's heating over medium-high. I'm gonna add a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, and then I'm gonna sear my short ribs on all sides to get that golden brown color. And that sizzle is exactly what you wanna hear when you get the short ribs in. That's how you know your pan is hot enough. I'm spacing these out evenly because I don't want to drop that temperature and make these steam. I wanna make sure that they can get hot enough to get that crust. I'm gonna sear these on all sides for a few minutes each until they're browned. Another great thing about Purim is that there's not as much pressure as, say, Passover or Rosh Hashanah to make a big meal. So I didn't want to go all in with a precious brisket, but short ribs are still really tasty and festive. Oh, look at that gorgeous color on this side. I'll flip these all over so that they can get browned on the other side as well. These make the house smell so good. These look awesome. I'm gonna transfer them back to their tray so that I can get the veggies cooking now. Oh yeah, they're gorgeous. All of that tasty fat, I'm gonna leave in the pan because I'm gonna use it to cook my veggies. I'm gonna add 1 chopped onion, a carrot, and some celery. A pinch of salt, and then I'll stir these around and let them cook until they're soft. Veggies are looking good. I'm gonna add 1/3 cup of tomato paste now for that concentrated tomato flavor. Got a few cloves of garlic and some fresh thyme and rosemary. I'm gonna stir this around and allow the tomato paste to caramelize, and the garlic to cook. And I'm gonna add a couple of pinches of red pepper for a little bit of heat. Then let it cook for about a minute until it's fragrant. This smells good. I'll grab my wine, stock, and bay leaves. You've got to add red wine to short rib sauce. It just adds that extra layer of flavor. I'm going to add a cup of this and then let it reduce by about half. My red wine has reduced. It's already starting to look thick and saucy. I'm going to add 3 cups of low sodium stock now. And then a couple of bay leaves will infuse more herby flavor into the sauce. I'll add some black pepper. And now I'll return the short ribs to the pot and let all this come together and cook down into the sauce. I am getting really excited. I'll cover this up and then stick it in the oven at 350 degrees for 1.5 to 2 hours until the short ribs are fall off the bone tender. I love making gnocchi to go in short rib sauce. They're the perfect pillowy companions to soak up all of the dark juices. My gnocchi starts with rice potatoes, which is way easier than it sounds. I just boiled a few russet potatoes, peeled, and riced them until they were mashed up and nice and fluffy. My potatoes are cooled here, and I'm gonna season them with a teaspoon of kosher salt. And I love ricing the potatoes. It just gives the gnocchi a lighter, more pillow-like texture. I'd definitely like to sleep on these pillows. I wouldn't get hungry in the middle of the night. I'll crack in the egg to help hold everything together, and then 1.5 cups of flour. This is such a simple gnocchi recipe. And I have an extra little cup of flour that I'm gonna keep on hand to dust the gnocchi as I mold them. I'll mix this up with a fork. I wanna keep that fluffiness that I got with the rice potatoes. So I'm just lightly mixing everything together. Once it starts clumping, I can get in here with my hands and just bring it all together. Once everything is combined, it should have the consistency of kind of a fluffy cookie dough. This is really nice. I'm gonna divide it into 4 pieces. And I'll roll this dough out into a roll that's about 3/4 of an inch thick. And if at any time the dough gets too sticky, I can dust with flour. And I'm just shifting my hands as I go so that it gets to be an even thickness. And now I'm going to cut 3/4 of an inch cuts. And I'm just gonna use my bench scraper. Look at these cute little pillows. To form, I'll grab a big fork. And I'm a righty, so I'm gonna hold it in my left hand and I'll hold it face down. And I'll take a gnocchi pillow and use my thumb to press it into the tines of the fork as I roll it down. And that's gonna create really pretty ridges. And then also a little bowl to hold the sauce. I'll put this onto a floured baking sheet and keep on rolling. Next, I'm getting my grown-up slushy on. Kosher wine style, baby. L'chaim.
Sarah, did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more? So what are you waiting for? Captain Ahab to help you find a parking spot?
There she blows! Whoop. Loading zone, darn it. Pull hard to starboard.
Too small.
Seriously? Because it... Oh. Follow him. Steady, steady. Go! Thunderation to the northern lot, where there be parking spaces as big as whales.
Geico. See all the ways you could save.
Find cool, comfortable styles from top brands that make the everyday routine anything but. Take an extra 20% off and get Kohl's Cash. Kohl's.
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby. They've climbed every mountain. They've crossed every river.
Black women business owners rise to every challenge, and they inspire us all.
'Cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough.
MasterCard is working alongside them with ways to get more businesses online and with hundreds of millions in funding.
Everybody wins when Black female businesses are thriving.
Shop their businesses and start something priceless.
My car is my after-work decompression zone. So when my windshield broke, I found the experts at Safelite Auto Glass. They have exclusive technology and service I can trust.
Safe like repair, safe like replace.
Whether you can't get out of bed or a health issue pops up late at night, with access to 24/7 video chat, you can see a provider no matter the time, day, or place at no extra cost. So you can skip unnecessary and expensive trips to the ER or urgent care. Plus, request prescription renewals with just a few taps. And just get back to being you. That's care for who you want to be.
Ready to blow away the rules of volume?
New Air Volume Mega Mascara by L'Oréal Paris. For mega volume, yet mega light. A whipped formula and a cushiony brush. New Air Volume Mega Mascara by L'Oréal Paris.
You're worth it.
Ordinary tissues burn when Theo blows. So Dad bought Puffs Plus lotion and rescued his nose. With up to 50% more lotion, Puffs brings soothing softness and relief. A nose in need deserves Puffs indeed.
Discovery Plus has your number. 55,000 episodes.
Plus
200 exclusive originals every year.
Plus.
And starting at $4.99.
Boom.
It's the best value in streaming. Discovery Plus. Stream what you love.
Yes! Purim is going down at our house today, and I've already started in on our short rib gnocchi. And these short ribs have been braising sweetly in the oven. It smells like a party in here. I'll keep on going with my sauce. I'm gonna remove the bones. This meat is falling right off of the bones, which is exactly what I'm looking for. And then I'll use a couple of forks to shred the meat. And I barely even have to work at this because it's so tender. This is so saucy and glossy. I'll keep this on low while I boil up my gnocchi. I've got a pot of salted water, and it's come to a nice big boil. And I'm gonna boil the gnocchi just for a few minutes until they float to the top. They cook really quickly. This is a step that you don't wanna do until right before you're ready to serve. You don't wanna overcook them. The last of them in here. Some of them are already starting to come to the top. I'll just transfer them directly into my sauce once they're done cooking. They're so puffy and fluffy. Can't wait to shovel these into my mouth. This is gonna be a beautiful dish. I'll fold this all together, and then I'm gonna add a ladleful or so of pasta water, which is gonna help loosen the sauce, and the starches from the pasta water will also help the sauce bind on to the gnocchi. This is a really good ratio of meat to pasta. Or are they dumplings? Both definitions are delicious. I'm gonna finish it off with a little sprinkle on top of crispy garlic and parsley panko. This is gonna provide an ideal textural experience. And it's so pretty. All right, I'm gonna taste it. Here I go. Flavor for days. This is a Purim win.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, who invited him?
Look.
Here we go. Hey.
Oops. All good.
Another Purim tradition, in addition to the cookies, is to get a little silly and drink. So I'm making my red wine slushies, which are sweet and frosty, and they get a great creamy element at the end from some sweetened condensed coconut milk. So I'm starting with 2 cups of frozen mixed berries, because it's a smoothie, right? A cup of ice, and some sweet red wine, which is every Jewish kid's first sip of alcohol. And we'll just blend this until it's smooth and luxurious. I'll pour it into chilled glasses. Oh yeah. I'm just like doing some swoops because it's party time. Now, in a move inspired by Hawaiian shave ice, I'm gonna drizzle some sweetened condensed coconut milk on top. It adds the most delicious creamy coconutty flavor, and it kind of balances out the iciness of this slushie. I love this stuff so much. You can use regular sweetened condensed milk too, but I love the coconutty flavor of this one. I'll top with a couple of berries. I'll grab my straws. Ta-da! Lime. Fruity. Okay, time to get the party started. Happy Purim!
Happy Purim!
Are you ready to party?
Yeah.
Cheers. It's your favorite holiday.
The most underrated holiday. Wow, that smoothie really is strong.
We have short rib gnocchi to soak it all up. I love how it's hearty and they're a party. They're a hearty party.
Hey, man.
Do you want some Hamantaschen?
Okay. Very good. What more incentive do I need to drink this whole thing?
How about a big breakfast? Next, the secret to soaking up Purim with happiness. And spoiler alert, it's cheesy. It's the day after Purim, and I need something to soak up all of last night's red wine slushies. So I'm making my mozzarella and spinach matzo brie, which is eggy and cheesy. It's like eating scrambled eggs, but with more textural oomph. So to start, I'll saute a shallot in some butter with a little salt. I'll let this soften, and while this cooks, I'll mix up my egg mixture. It's really easy. I'll add a splash of cream to 4 eggs. I'll whisk it up. Okay. I'll break up my matzah and soak it in cold water for just a minute. It's important though, you don't want to soak the matzah in the water for too long, otherwise it will disintegrate. I'll drain it and fold it into my eggs. Okay. I'll set this aside and grab my mix-ins. I've got some spinach and some mozzarella because the only thing that makes matzo brie better is cheesy, melty string pulls. I'm gonna wilt my spinach in with a shallot. This will cook down, it'll be pretty and green. I'll add a pinch of salt, which will draw the moisture out of the spinach and help it soften. And then I'll let this cook for a couple of minutes until it's wilted. So much of what I love about matzo brie is that it's pure nostalgia. It always makes me think of my mom's, which everyone's mom makes the best matzo brie. Bernie better think so one day. The spinach is wilted. I'm ready for the egg mixture. I'll just dump it right in. I'll spread it out and then cook it like scrambled eggs and just keep on pushing it around the pan until it's mostly set. I want to be careful not to overcook it and get rubbery eggs. This is looking so good. I would eat it just like this, but I'm gonna make it even better by adding a handful of mozzarella. I'll fold this in and let it melt. Yes, 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 yes. I'm seeing some great cheese pulls. I'm gonna remove it from the heat so that it doesn't overcook. And I'm gonna season it with a good pinch of flaky salt. And pepper. And I've gotta have hot sauce and ketchup. Hot sauce for heat. And ketchup because I love the acidity and it cools it down so that I can shovel it into my mouth. I could eat this right out of the pan. I'm actually going to right now. This is so comforting and cheesy. I am transported. I love you. Right now.